Let's play a little game. How many of these have you said to yourself lately? I'm doing everything right, but I'm still flaring. Or it's like my body has a mind of its own. Or my favorite, I just woke up one morning and everything fell apart again. If that sounds familiar, I want you to hear this. It's not that your body is broken, it's that some of the things that you've been told are healthy are actually keeping your immune system in overdrive. I'm Jennifer Franchak. I'm a functional nutritionist and an AIP certified coach. And today I'm sharing 5 surprising triggers that are quietly setting off autoimmune flares in the background. And these are things that most women don't even really think twice about. I'm going to explain why understanding these triggers could completely change how you recover and prevent autoimmune flares. Now, here's what we know from the research. While every autoimmune condition looks different on the outside, many of the root level triggers that drive autoimmune activation, like gut inflammation, chronic stress, and environmental load, are remarkably consistent. And what's unique is how your body responds to those triggers, the specific pathways, the tissues, and the symptoms that flare. So I want you to think about these triggers as the first places where you're going to start to investigate if you're really serious about calming your immune system and shortening your flare cycles. Stress is one of the most underestimated flare triggers, and I'm not just talking about emotional stress. Your immune system and nervous system are in constant conversation. When you live in fight or flight mode, juggling work deadlines, family needs, perfectionism, and that never ending to do list, your body stays on high alert. That chronic state of alert sends one message to your immune system: we're not safe. When your immune system doesn't feel safe, it doesn't stand down. It keeps producing inflammatory chemicals designed to protect you from danger, even when that danger is just your daily schedule. Research shows that chronic psychological stress literally alters immune cell behavior and makes them more inflammatory and less regulated. So it's not just happening in your head, it's happening in your biology. This week, I want you to start noticing some small ways that your body is telling you that it's running on fumes. Are you rushing from one thing to the next without giving yourself time to recover? Do you feel wired but tired at night? Like your brain just won't shut down, even though you're exhausted? Does your body stay tense? Like your shoulders are up, your jaw's tight, even when you're technically resting? Here's the truth: you can't supplement or biohack your way out of a chronically activated nervous system. Until your body feels safe, your immune system is going to keep behaving like it's under attack. And something that most people miss is when your body spends too long in that stress response, it doesn't just affect your mood or your sleep, it actually changes your gut. Chronic stress literally alters your digestion and your gut microbes and the integrity of your intestinal lining. And that brings us to the second major flare trigger, and that's one that quietly drives inflammation for months, sometimes years, before it ever shows up as symptoms. And that's intestinal permeability or leaky gut. About 70 to 80% of your immune system is housed in your gut. This means that when your gut is inflamed and leaky and imbalanced, your immune system feels it immediately, because your gut is literally your body's first line of communication with the outside world. Your gut microbes, those trillions of bacteria that live inside of you, act like peacekeepers. When they're diverse and balanced, they can help your immune system stay calm and tolerant. But when that balance is disrupted from stress, processed foods, medications, alcohol, even poor sleep, those peacekeepers start losing control. When your gut barrier becomes more permeable or leaky, tiny food particles, toxins, and bacterial fragments can actually slip through that barrier and get into your bloodstream. And the immune system, which is always vigilant, sounds an alarm that an invader has been detected, because these fragments, particles, and toxins should not be in your bloodstream. And this doesn't just create an immune response, it can actually change how your immune system sees food. So once that intestinal barrier is open, like it is with leaky gut, tiny protein particles that were never meant to leave your intestines can start slipping through that barrier, those little cracks in your intestinal lining that have been compromised. And because it's your immune system's job to defend you, it flags those particles as potential threats. Now, over time, this can lead to what we call food sensitivities. And these aren't true allergies, but it's an immune response that drives inflammation and makes your flare ups unpredictable. The next piece of this puzzle is understanding how the foods on your plate, even the ones that seem healthy, can trigger that same immune response once your gut barrier is compromised. And this one surprises a lot of people because it's not always about junk food or sugar. Even foods that are normally nourishing can cause problems when your immune system is on edge or your gut barrier is inflamed. There's this really interesting concept in immunology called molecular mimicry, and it means that certain food proteins look similar to the proteins in your own body. When your immune system mistakes those food proteins as a threat, it can cross react, and this leads to inflammation and tissue damage. That's why you might eat something on Monday and not feel the effects of it until Wednesday. Immune reactions often have a 24 to 72-hour delay. Some of the common culprits that lead to an immune reaction are gluten, dairy, soy, and processed seed oils, but it can be different for everyone. That's why tracking food and lifestyle habits and a strategic elimination and reintroduction diet like the AIP can be such powerful tools. And also, you want to remember that when your immune system is already busy because it's reacting to food particles and inflammation from the gut, it can become hypersensitive to other stressors, especially infections that can keep your immune system stuck in defense mode. Your immune system never forgets an infection. Past viral, bacterial, or even dental infections can leave your immune system in a heightened state of vigilance, always scanning for danger. Sometimes it's not just an active infection that's the issue, but an immune memory that's never fully shut off. Research into autoimmune diseases like Hashimoto's, rheumatoid arthritis, and lupus show that viral reactivation, even something as common as the Epstein-Barr virus, can reignite the immune system and trigger flare-ups. If your flares seem to follow colds, travel, or high stress, which suppresses immune regulation, infections might be a part of your root cause picture. Finally, I want to talk about the trigger that most people underestimate, and this is environmental exposure. Your immune system doesn't just react to what's inside of you. It's constantly responding to what's around you. Now, I'm talking about things like synthetic fragrances, cleaning products, cosmetics, or mold exposure in damp homes or offices, heavy metals or chemicals from food packaging, cookware, and even water. Now, these exposures might seem minor, but together they add to your body's total inflammatory load, like background noise that your immune system has to filter out all the time. And when this noise gets too loud, that's when the flare hits. So if you're hearing all of this and you're thinking, okay, but how do I even figure out which triggers are mine? You don't have to guess. I created something that will help you to get started, and it's called the Autoimmune Harmony Roadmap. It's not just another checklist, it's a guided framework to help you get curious about your body, connect the dots, and take your first step out of reactive mode. You can grab it using the link below, and once you start looking at your health through this lens, it completely changes the way that you interpret your symptoms. This isn't about fear or perfection. You can't avoid every trigger, and you don't need to. The goal here is awareness. When you start seeing the triggers clearly, you can stop being blindsided by autoimmune flares. You begin to see cause and effect. You realize that your body has been trying to communicate with you, not betray you. And that shift in perspective, that's the foundation of flare prevention. Once you understand that your triggers are unique, you can finally design a lifestyle that supports your immune system instead of fighting against it. Now that you understand the 5 main trigger categories, it's time to learn how to use that awareness to prevent the flares before they start. In the next video, I'm breaking down the 5 autoimmune myths that are keeping you in flare mode instead of prevention mode. Make sure you're subscribed, click the bell, and I'll see you there.